Well, good evening, and unfortunately we're facing a small technical difficulty, so hopefully there's nobody waiting on Rumble at the moment. I hope oh, there we go. Rumble's working now. Hope those of you who are here on YouTube enjoyed that intro for me, done by No Green Rocks of the Legion of Memers. I very much appreciate his work on that. And here we have NewsLad here to hang out for the evening before he goes off and lives his merry life without us.
Oh, now I feel bad. Jeez.
So how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm here. Unfortunately, the elements have gotten to me, and I'm battling a virus. But other than that, I'm tickled to be here.
No,
I'm a
well,
happy feller.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So, we were just talking before we hopped on about computers, and he's playing around on a Chromebook over there, which seems to be working quite nicely for this. So, those of you who are interested in streaming and perhaps only have a Chromebook, look, it works.
Yes, let's hope that it continues to work, because I'm going to be blunt and honest with you. I got this thing for $100 at Target, so
hey, whatever works.
If it works.
So far, so good. No reason to be all doom and gloom about it. It's working so far. No reason to suspect at this stage that it's not going to. So.
Oh, I will be all up on their reviews saying, "Hey, this thing was awesome and worth it for $100."
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. We have Emperor Doomsday here already. Good to see you. Derp. I love Derp. It's always great to see Derp. Soldier Spirit. I hope you're having a good evening. Farmer Bob.
Yes, I suspect I know who Farmer Bob is. But,
oh, really?
He may or may not be a relation of mine.
Oh, so super secret relations are hanging out in the chat, or he's a total stranger. We may never know. Actually, you'll probably know, but I may never know. So, and Derp's telling you not to jinx your poor little Chromebook there, but I think the Chromebook will be just fine.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, it's already moving faster than that. Oh God, what is the brand of my Lenovo? Some fancy thing that had 12 gigabytes of RAM and is now slower than Moses.
Yeah, it's funny how bad those things can go downhill. I have this really big, fancy laptop that's basically a desktop someone shoved into a laptop case, and we're reaching the end of our lifespan here, and it's making me sad.
See, I understand that because I'm old enough to remember when desktops were the only ones that had what they told you was a efficient amount of RAM to it. Like if you wanted more RAM, you had to have the desktop.
Well, I mean, this literally even has an actual desktop processor in it. Like, it doesn't have one of those special laptop processors. The processor in this laptop is the exact same as what you would find in a desktop.
Okay, I got you.
So, I mean, when I say I got a big fancy laptop, I mean I got a big fancy laptop.
Hey, as long as it works, I'm all about that until it
Until it
doesn't
stops
work.
working. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, computers can be fussy depending on what you're deciding to do. I think the streaming and gaming at the same time is probably taxing it just a bit much because the big difference between a laptop and a computer tower is airflow.
I'm learning this. I've been trying to do my homework so that in the event of my return, I want to be a little better educated. So
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm trying to learn about these CPUs and the GPUs that come with fans as opposed to do I need it? See, I'm just showing my age now. I don't know stuff. We didn't worry about fans, as long as it didn't sound like a helicopter while you were running it. You thought it was safe. Now these things have liquid cooling.
Yeah, you can get them liquid cooled. I mean, once upon a time, they would heat the room for you, and that was considered a bonus.
That's true. Especially if your mother kept it 68 or cooler.
Yeah. Hey, Robust, it's good to see you over on Rumble. And I wish I could just liquid cool the laptop. I basically have to set it in a bucket of ice.
I don't think that'll work very well.
No, for some reason, electronics and waters don't work. It's just not. It's not fair.
Well, that depends what you're trying to accomplish with it.
That's
really.
true too. That is true too. So, how about? Well, I don't want to pry too much because, I don't know how much you want to reveal to everybody, but how about we talk about how you got into memeing?
Well, how did I get into? Really, for quite a while, I've done just simple memeing. And by that I mean I'm gonna look this up now that I have my phone next to me because I don't want to give out the wrong name of this app. It's on, well, Apple has it too, but I find it works better on Android. It's called Meme Generator, and you'll find all kinds of templates on there. And I really started out kind of with that, and they're your basic run of the mill sort of the big thing of the day kind of memes that you find. I started with that, and honestly, I don't remember what I was doing when No Green Rocks and I came across each other. It might have even been one of those type of simple things. I really myself did not start these sort of memes where you're seeing us put on like the fellowship heads and that until, and God, it seems longer than what it really has been, but this would have been March. So I myself am kind of new to that game as far as actually adding people's heads and that, but it's to me it's easier than what it is now. If people like them, that's a whole different story. But it's fun, and as you and Sheep have found out, all kinds of things can either go right or wrong with these sort of things.
I remember when memes were just becoming a big thing on the internet way back in the early days of yore. And people were discovering that they could put words on pictures and put them on the internet and convey a message. Sometimes funny, sometimes serious. Most of the time, it was poorly grammared, much like my sentence. So,
Oh, that happens to the best of us.
yeah. No, it's one of those things I've reflected on over the years. It doesn't seem to matter how good the meme is. There is somewhere in there a grammatical error.
Oh, most definitely. I often find that sometimes helps with the delivery, though, too,
Hmm.
especially if it's one of the memes where we're making fun of Az and his love for trans boobies.
Poor Az. So, who is your favorite person in the Fellowship to meme?
Oh, wow. It if I take a moment now and think about it, I feel like I really personally meme Culture Casino a lot. Um, and I don't remember quite how we got on the kick because I wasn't watching as much of the comics division shows,
Hmm.
and I just happened to start watching them, and they do the whole "oh my god, the cock" thing over there,
Yeah.
and I it's going to sound terrible, but I started out uh, finding guys in speedos. I know this sounds wrong already, and I would stick Culture's head on some of them, especially if it was like the Borat
Hmm.
swimsuit. And I started out with that, and then for some reason we started making him a woman.
It's
Uh,
the hair. He's got such great hair.
uh, it's it's the hair and bearded woman approach, and it seems like I get him a lot, but he's so great about it. Like I apologized to him in person when we all met up in Orlando, and he was just so awesome about it. Like I really thought that he might have been like, Jesus Christ, you're always making me a woman. But he was just so great about it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that most people in the Fellowship are reasonably relaxed towards what you may or may not do with their bodies. There have been some absolutely horrendous things I've seen done that people just laugh off. Mostly Ryan, I think, is probably the worst one.
Uh, I haven't, and I hate to say it, like, I'll get a like with Ryan every so often, but I don't get it. I personally don't get a lot out of him
Hmm.
like some of the others do. Um, although now that I think about that, I finally did get another like from him, and oddly enough, it was when I went after Melanie Mack because she and I have this thing because she's a Steelers fan, and being in Ohio that I am, uh, I like to go after her because I was born and raised to support two teams, really. And that was the 49ers because of my dad, and the Bengals by proximity. I'm about an hour away from Cincinnati. And, she's always wearing the Steelers stuff. So, how was it? Yes, that Alyssa Milano thing going around,
Hmm.
the Handmaid's thing. Well,
Yeah, that retarded thing. Yeah.
I put Melanie's face on there with a couple of Bengals things, and had her saying "Who Day." And funny enough, like I only tagged Melanie, but Ryan was like the first person to like it. So I never know what Ryan's just like all over the place. God
Yes.
love him. It's just like you never know where he's going to come from. Great dude, from what I could tell, but from my own personal meme standpoint, you know, it's
I'm a Panthers fan, so
oh, you poor
yeah,
innocent
it's
child.
it's a horrible, painful experience on a consistent basis. But their very first season out the gate was amazing, and they've been to the Super Bowl more times than, say, I don't know, the Lions. So at least I got that going for me.
Yeah, you, you've got a point there. The Lions are they're something.
Yeah, they're a football team. That's about
Most of
all
the
we can
time.
say about that.
Farmer Bob is cracking me up too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and let the cat out of the bag on that one. Farmer Bob is my oldest son, so
Oh, well,
yeah,
welcome, NewsLad Junior.
that's yeah, NewsLad. I don't know what that makes his little brother then, but we'll go with it.
NewsLad Junior the second.
Yeah, we'll go with that. It's always nice to have family support you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's great because my mom actually watches the midweek hump. She doesn't really watch this stuff, but she comes on and watches the midweek hump, and many times you can hear her yelling from down below the stairs about whatever her opinion is. We just need to get her a microphone.
NewsLad the third. Yeah, I mean, hey, might as well get her in on it. Make it a real family affair.
Yep. I mean, why not? My mother's a really smart cookie. So
Yeah, speaking of, if you're catching these comments here, my kid's going to correct us on some of this because he he's only 15, but somehow he remembers and knows all this
Panthers,
football. Look at
Panthers
this.
are older than him.
I know, right? And here he is telling us Panthers went 7-9 their first year, and
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know what that means.
uh, NFL season used to be 16 games, and he's telling us that they had a losing record.
Oh
Although let's be honest, 7-9 your first season is really not bad.
no, I mean it was literally their first year out of the gate. I mean you can't really expect too much more from them. I mean
Oh, yeah.
let's not talk about recent years though. They did finally win against the Broncos, so yay.
I mean, well, you got to remember, being that I support the 49ers because of my dad, the Broncos, their current quarterback is Russell Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
who of course came from the Seahawks, a division rival of the Niners.
Yep.
And the fact that he is hot garbage right now is just beautiful to me.
Robust, I'm a woman. I can only be expected to keep so much football information in my head. I got a
There's
shitload of other stuff going on.
let's be honest, there are some people who try to pretend that they know, and in some ways I can appreciate that, but
I know which football teams I like. I can deal with most of the rules on the field, but when you start getting into in-depth statistics, you lose me.
well, see, that's why I'm impressed with the kid. I mean, I thought I knew a lot. Oh God,
I
Sumo.
have no idea. Why would we talk about OSU and Ryan Day? Because that sounds like Swahili to me. I have no idea what you're talking about.
College football. He knows that I, and of course Bike Stitch and my son, are Ohio State fans, and Sumo here somehow is a Michigan fan, who of course is the biggest rival of Ohio State, and they kicked
Mm.
the ever loving crap out of Ohio State on Saturday.
Aw, that
Uh,
sucks.
and he likes to rub this in at every every turn. I still don't know how he ended up a Michigan fan, but
That's a
if
good
he's
question.
not going to give me crap for being a 49ers fan, or you for being a Panthers fan, I guess we'll let it slide. Oh, trust me, it gets worse though, because the kid in the comments is a Chiefs fan
Oh no.
and a Boston Red Sox fan,
Yeah,
and
now I get lost at baseball. So the fact I even know that that's a baseball team impresses me.
a Golden State Warriors fan, and he's going to get mad at me if I forget one of these.
Uh
The joke goes, if you haven't heard this before, and he'll correct me on this too, is A lot of like Cowboys fans are Cowboys fans, Lakers fans, Yankees fans, and he's going to correct me here. All the bandwagon America's teams.
Wait, Alan
And
just literally said your kid sounds like a bandwagoner.
But he's my kid, so I love him to death.
Oh, Tar Heels. Okay, UNC Tar Heels basketball. Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
so
of people seem to support the Tar Heels.
He's kind of like all over the place on some of these, but God love him. At least he's honest about it.
Well, and it's not like he doesn't have a little bit of knowledge to back it up, it looks like. So that's always a positive.
Right? Somebody's got to brag on the kid, and it might as well be his father.
Oh, look at that. Daddy loves his son. It's so cute.
I try to be a good dad. I will admit it. I know I'm a shit poster on Twitter and that, but I do try to be a good father.
I'll say it's some of the best ship posters have some of the warmest hearts. It seems to me.
Right?
I mean, just because you know how to, actually, to be fair, because you know how to hurt somebody, you also know how to care.
Unless you're a furry, then we don't like you too much.
Well, furries are furries. That's an entirely separate situation.
Unless you're Alf, he's hard furry, and we like him. But unless you're Alf, that's a different story, though.
I don't know. Does being an alien life form really count as being a furry?
I mean, see, he tried to clarify that for me because I was like, it's your handle is literally hard furry, but he tells me it's okay because he's an alien.
Well, I mean, because it's not quite the same. I mean, he's not from this planet, so can you really judge him by this planet's standards?
I won't, because he eats cats, and I'm not a cat person. Other than that, I guess not. But then again, he's earned the right. He's an alien, and God love him. He served in the military, so he's earned the right to be whatever he wants to be.
Yep. Cats are mad. I love my cats. I love my dogs a little more, but I love my cats. They keep away the mice.
Don't let him fool you. That poor boy's got a dog and 4 cats.
Oh, God.
And that's just at his mom's house.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's what I said. No, thank you.
Oh, how dare you all for not acknowledging Canadian sports. With my leg and X-ray girl's feet, we will dominate you all. Isn't Canadian sports just hockey?
Yeah, and the kid will have to correct me on this too, because I don't watch soccer. But I don't think they do that very well either. So,
I mean, it is awfully cold up there for soccer.
Aside from hockey and maple syrup, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there we go. He corrected me on that. They're already out of the World Cup.
Oh, wow. And that's more than I already knew about the World Cup. So we are entirely... I'm learning all sorts of stuff today that I won't remember 10 minutes from now. CFL.
Yeah, that's true.
All I know about Canada's hockey. Oh, and curling. I know about curling.
Yeah, they're right. Derpnator's right. He and my son are correct. They do have their own football league. That tends to be where the NFL guys end up when they flame out.
Ooh. And the Canadians have a bobsledding team, but that makes more sense than Jamaica's bobsledding team. They at least have snow.
That's true.
Germany and Mexico also aren't in the World Cup.
Yeah, something about... see, the kid was explaining this to me earlier, and this is where I'm getting lost from sumo, is something about a round of 16, and people... Yeah, me and soccer, that's one thing that... No.
I mean, curling seems a lot like... what's that called? Shuffleboard on ice.
Yeah, I think I I had to think about that for a moment. Yeah, except for curling's like a team
Yeah, it's a team
thing.
sport.
I think if I tried curling, I'd probably brush too hard, maybe. And uh, what do they call? They call it an iron? I could be wrong.
I have
Uh,
no idea what they call it.
but
Mm.
I think I would probably brush too hard, and that thing would just like sail right past, and you would just hear everyone collectively boo me.
Yeah, it's all about friction in that game, isn't it?
It's something. I couldn't imagine that one, but hey, if it gets me a free trip out of the country, maybe.
Depends on where you're going, though. I mean, there's some places I don't know that I want to go.
It's true. Now that you mention
Uh,
that, the last
your
couple,
son is informing us that you would fall as soon as you got on the ice.
he's probably got a point. I probably would. It's been, God, it, it might have been a good 25 years since I last tried to ice skate, so he's probably got a point.
I'm not gonna lie, ice skating scares me. Something about strapping blades to my feet where I might fall just doesn't seem like a great idea.
No, no, no. Not in our DNA like Canadians.
Canada will absorb the lions, less riots when Detroit loses that way.
Well, that's a good point.
Free trip to China? No thanks, Robust. No thanks.
I would take, like the kids pointing out, I would take Korea and I would take Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I hear that like the last couple of ones in Russia, they didn't even necessarily have working toilets.
Ooh.
So yeah, that and I know Beijing was a hot mess.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that absolutely was. Brazil wasn't much but better from what I understand.
Yeah, that shows how much I know about the Olympics because I always kind of wondered why they just didn't like swim in the Rio for some of them, like make it real
Oh God, no.
interesting. And then I found out the truth about the condition of, the Rio.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, my God, no wonder they don't want to show that on
Yeah.
TV.
Well, it's like Beijing. I mean, they literally, for a lot of the time leading up to there, they told people they weren't allowed to drive anymore because the smog is so thick around Beijing that someone has actually developed a way to pull the particles from the air and create little blocks, like building blocks.
That is both horrifying and somehow very intriguing.
Yeah,
Like,
right, isn't it?
like I could just watch the process and be dumbfounded by it. But
It's terrifying.
I
But in
would
order to
still be
get the
like,
blue
uh,
skies, they had to keep everybody from driving.
now I know they also what was it they did? They hung I don't want to say they hung things up, but might have built like cheap scaffolding to hide some of the slums around there as well.
Oh, I'm sure they did, absolutely.
Like, what do you talk about? Beijing's awesome. There's no slums. Try our
We live
shitty
perfect
barbecue.
lives here.
Yeah, we got
Blade Feet is so anime.
what?
Robust. Blade Feet is so anime. Ice skating is the weebest snow sport. I don't understand. I guess.
Weebist? I'm not. I mean, I know there's. See, I'm confused, and I follow an awful lot of anime. Now, I know there's anime about ice skating, but
Is
they
there?
lost me. Yeah, I didn't watch it, and I can't think of the name of it now. But it was supposed to be a really good one,
Hmm.
and it's gonna bug me.
I didn't know there was even one about ice skating. I
Yeah,
am
like
not a very good weeb, but
uh,
I'm not a weeb, so that makes sense.
I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be honest. I can think of it. I can see it. It's like competitive ice skating. It was relatively recently. See, where's Brandon the anime guy when we need him? Because He would know this. And it was
I'm probably off watching some anime.
something to do with Yuri on Ice or something. I don't know if that sounds familiar to anybody in the chat, but
Nope, never heard of it.
yeah, where's the weebs and waifu people when we need them? Jeez.
There
Kind of
was Yuri
fellowship
on
is
Ice.
this?
Apparently, there was a one called Yuri on Ice, but Robust didn't watch it.
Oh, hey, I'm just tickled. I might have gotten that right.
And your son thinks it sounds boring.
He's correct. It's I've watched. I'll be honest. I've watched a lot of anime in my time, and a lot of weird ones, but that is not one of them.
No, Emperor Doomsday says it does not. It was not Yuri on Ice. Yes, I know you're in Rumble, Robust. I can see you right there, and thank you for being in Rumble. Hit the like button. And everybody on YouTube, hit the like button. I appreciate it.
It may not be the one that they were talking about, but now that I've looked this up, it's the one I was remembering, so I'm going with it. So,
okay, cool. Nightbot has been told that they're not allowed to do that kind of thing, Derp. You're safe. Nightbot's just telling people where they can find me on Wednesday night.
Oh, I got it.
On the midweek hump. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. He was talking about ice skating. Oh, not your cup of tea? Yeah. I don't think... Really, whose cup of tea is ice skating? Anybody?
No. Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that we were an ice skating crowd. Unless maybe Mark the Cyborg's cybernetic leg over there is into ice skating. He might be. We'll find out.
I think... Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just... he said...
I was going to say that Mark's cybernetic leg is probably into whatever X-Ray Girl's feet are into.
You're probably not wrong. I'm tickled that the body part accounts are stopping by. That always makes me giggle just a little bit. They have some interesting names out there for sure. Looks fun. I'd like to try it, but I don't watch it. Ice skating. Okay. I bite it when I'm on roller skates, so I can't imagine that it would be any better on ice. Yeah, that's kind of my feeling too. And then to strap blades on my feet to top it off, I'm going to either cut myself or somebody else. It seems like a bad idea overall.
Right. It's been my experience that if it's the old school roller skates, I'm okay. But it's something about inline skates. I have no coordination. And I will fall on my ass.
I'm the opposite. I need the inline skates in order to stay up. If it's roller skates, I can't keep my legs going the same direction. Though even on inline skates, I have to run into the wall to stop. I've never been good at stopping.
I can see that.
But
I mean that nicely, but I can see it. White Adam was a god at rollerblading, by the way.
Yeah, and ANCAP used to rollerblade as well. Maybe they could get together and have some rollerblading fun.
And then they could be a white ANCAP gamer. They confuse.
We are into any sports involving feet, especially cybernetics ones. X-ray girls' feet are the exception.
I think that's probably fair. I would hope that she doesn't freakishly lose her feet.
That would be a little weird.
That would be weird. Although I hear she does struggle sometimes with her building. So
yeah. But that's why she has the chat to help her. That's why she does the bimbo building, so that she has all the assistance she needs.
That's true. I have swung by a couple of those, and it's always entertaining. Poor girl. The one time I did swing by there that I can think of, she somehow ended up like 10 minutes behind the chat. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I think she ended up muted too and didn't realize it. So, like, everyone's yelling at her in the chat, but she's muted and 10 minutes behind and doesn't realize any of this.
Oh no, that sucks.
And I'm like, I don't know if I feel worse for her or all these people that are yelling at her in the chat, realizing, because everyone's like, she's got to be behind. And it's like, why are you still yelling at her? Someone tweet to Mark and tell him what's going on.
Quick, someone tag Mark. Help him save her. Yeah.
That's right. And you know what? While we're sharing stories,
Mhm.
this reminded me, for anyone who has not met X-Ray Girl, she is the biggest sweetheart.
She is.
I say this because at the Orlando meetup, there was these lines, as you can attest.
Yep.
I didn't very well strategically follow these lines.
Neither did I.
But, after I talked to... Now, I'm trying to remember how the line went now. I saw Gary, and then I think Garrett.
Yeah, Gary had the biggest line, then there was Garrett, and then it was X-Ray.
Right. And I was trying to be a good guy and not take up too much time with people, even though it was my first time. And, I moved on, and I had just passed X-Ray Girl. We had talked a little, and, I didn't want to take too much of her time. And she just comes running over to me and apologizes and gives me a hug. And I was like, that to me was just like the sweetest thing, because she felt like I didn't get enough time with her.
Yeah.
Whereas I was afraid I was taking too much time.
Yeah, that's definitely the rough thing at the meetups, is figuring out, if you're being like taking too much time, or if you're you don't want to be pushy, because there's so many other people there who are there to meet them, to talk to them too. And but at the same time, you're excited to meet them, and you want a chance to actually really talk to them, and it can be rough, but it's fun.
It is very fun, unless you get stopped by a little old lady security guard who kept insisting that I was on the wrong side of the staircase.
Oh shit.
It was after I got to talk to Jay, and there was this little old lady security guard by an exit to the outdoors, and I'm trying to remember how this went. And there was this really old gentleman, and I say really old because he might have been older than my dad, and my dad's 69 now.
Oh my.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw him, but he was a vet.
He's that old.
Yeah, he was a vet of some sort. I remember because he had the hat on. Really old gentleman, and he was in front of me, and the security guard keeps yelling at me that I'm on the wrong side of the line. She's like, the line's on the left, and I'm trying to keep an eye on this old gentleman because he's like hunched over and on stairs, and I'm getting yelled at by the security guard, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool and all, but why am I watching this guy and you're not watching him? My kid's got jokes.
Oh God.
And it's funny that he mentions that, because his grandfather, my dad, was just in the Vietnam War. And I think this guy at the meetup might have been too, but...
Well, if he was that old, it's entirely possible. At least Korea.
It might have been, and that was part of what I was so amazed by, was that there was someone of that age that was there to meet the fellowship. And I'm trying to keep an eye on him, and at the same time trying to, I guess, apparently not get thrown out of the meetup.
Yeah, I never did have any problems with any of the security people, despite the fact that I definitely did not always stand in line the way I was supposed to.
Well, like they kept shifting it. Now, if I recall correctly, and I know Jay had a rough go. He had to have been in the Florida heat in the
Oh my god, in the Canadian bear suit. Oh my god, that
right.
must have been miserable.
And where he was at, if I'm looking down these stairs where the older gentleman I'm trying to keep an eye on was, uh Jay was at the bottom of these stairs on the right,
Hmm.
and Josiah was on the left.
Hmm.
And this lady keeps telling me that the line's on the left, and I'm like, but there's a guy on the left and a guy on the right.
Right.
What if I've already talked to the guy here?
And I want to go talk to the other guy now.
Yeah, yeah. My mind's all over the place remembering this stuff, but
Oh yeah, there's so much.
I had to bring up how awesome X-Ray Girl was there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to everyone. I didn't get to talk to Mark. I guess he was off having drinks. The lucky
Uh,
little guy.
I got to hang out with Mark the day after the meetup for a little bit. Him and Sheep met up so that we could see get a copy of his Fear the Reaper movie, which was really good. So if any of you haven't seen it, you can look it up on YouTube, or you can probably get in touch with him for a copy. It's called Fear the Reaper. It's just, he made it when he was in his early 20s, and for a young uh, independent film the way it was really well done. I cannot highly recommend it enough for a good sit down and watch. Jesus Christ.
I mean, maybe it was in Orlando. You might have to. I'm finding. I haven't seen it yet, and then I just saw that Derp Nader asked about Krista. I
Mhm.
didn't get to talk to Krista personally, um, but that was just me. Some people had bigger groups at the time.
Yeah.
Um,
I got to say hi to her a couple times, but I didn't actually get to talk to her. So
yeah, now that he's had, I'm trying to remember. I didn't get to speak to her.
mhm.
I did not get to speak to Ryan or Jeremy, actually.
Mhm.
Um, and my big old dumbass, I know you're also on YouTube, and Mama Susan doesn't like certain words, which is part of why I'm leaving YouTube. But, anyways, my
Oh,
big dumbass got lost at City Walk.
no, no.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it was actually, and I'm trying to remember the layout because I've never been to this place before.
Mhm.
And uh, I kept walking past it somehow. I
Oh
never,
no.
I never saw anybody. I probably walked around the perimeter of that place 3 times.
Oh,
And
that sucks.
by the time I found everybody, I was about done, but I did finally get to talk to Shags though.
Mhm.
So that was pretty good. Um, and the thing is, and most people don't know this, especially about our host, is she and Sheep are real easy to talk to. And
Aw.
if you get in the habit of giving them shit on the midweek hump, you need to stop saying, what N word am I using?
He's just
I
fucking
just
with you.
I just caught that. I was like, what word did I even use involving it? But anyway, see
Well,
now
we'll be going to Rumble in 15 minutes anyway, so then you can use the N word all you want.
he got me off track there. But if you get to giving these two shit and meet them in person, it's almost like meeting up with old friends. Uh, and it was really that way with Shags too. We got along really well, and like I said, I got to talk to Culture, and Nick
Mhm.
Weiser.
Those two are hilarious.
Which reminds me, I owe Nick Weiser one because that guy tried to jump on me. And see, the kid still in the chat, he'll tell you that my back is a hot mess.
Oh.
Now, I will give Nick Weiser the benefit of the doubt. He did not know this.
He was probably
And
drunk too.
He was, and it could have ended a hell of a lot worse than what it did. But yeah, by the time City Walk came around, I think a lot of us were pretty fried.
Oh yeah.
I happened to find City Walk because, and I'm terrible with names. See, he's saying it. I'm terrible with names. Like I said, I don't really watch Weebs and Waifu
Mm-hmm.
because I am a subbed supremacist, and
Ooh.
it is my information that they are dubbed supremacists when it comes to anime. But
No.
yeah. But anyways, I found City Walk because I think I saw Ivan first, and him and Megan were dressed as the Survey Corps from Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Bless them for doing that because I would have never found City Walk if I hadn't seen the outfits.
It's funny because I saw okay, so we were actually late to getting to the City Walk. We were supposed to meet Kano-kun for dinner, and we were going to meet him there at City Walk, and it took us like 2 hours to get in to Orlando, to get into the freaking Universal. And that was just to park. And then we went to just a little NBC bar that was right there. And of course, that took an hour. So it's like nearly 9, 10 o'clock before we're finally getting there. And, that's just kind of when everybody was wrapping up. Oh, but it was so much. I can only imagine how tired those guys were because they'd been going since God knows how long. And the fact that they were able to stand out there with us all still and talk and enjoy themselves, that takes a lot of energy.
Alcohol.
It takes a lot of alcohol. Oh my God, Steph was so drunk. She
Yeah,
was so adorable, but she was so drunk.
I didn't get to talk to her, but I could tell. Ryan was probably rather lit.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's drunk 3PO, of course.
Well,
He
I
can
mean,
he can try and tell us he ain't drinking as much, but I don't believe it. But see, Derp Nader, I'm going to be honest with you. Ivan is probably awesome, and as we mentioned earlier, this is my last foray as NewsLad, so I'm going to be real. I'm not going to say that I've seen more anime than any of them, but like I said, I don't have a life aside from my kids, and I have watched a lot of anime, and it's nothing against them, but if you tell me you're a dubbed supremacist and can't necessarily back up why, see, we all have our loves. Some people it's computers, some people it's alcohol. Mine's anime. I'm not gonna say that I'm an expert. I'm not gonna name you this, and this, but I watch and see my kids saying I'm a massive nerd. I watch every new season of anime. I can usually find at least one show each season. And I might even tell you the Japanese name of these anime. And Ivan might be an awesome guy, but if I go into your chat and all you're saying is dubbed, I'm out.
I'm gonna be honest. The only reason I watch dub is because that way I can still watch it and do something else. Sub, I have to actually pay attention.
I will sometimes I'll watch both. But what I have noticed is with some of these, it changes new sweep. It changes the story for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm gonna show my age again here. My first anime that when it really started around here uh, was Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you who may not know, uh, Sailor Moon in the United States got cut off after a while. After about the fourth season. Yes, son, I'm old. Uh, because America would not allow the showing of transgenderism, if you
Ah,
believe that.
I
The
can believe it.
fifth season of Sailor Moon uh, dealt with some characters that in their everyday life they were basically male and celebrities, but when they would transform like the other Sailor Scouts, they became women, and that was a big no-no in America, and thus not allowed to be shown, which meant I had to get used to Japanese subbed so that
Mm-hmm.
I could finish the story.
Yeah.
See,
Robust would like to know if you're watching Chainsaw Man.
uh, I am, and of course, I am watching subbed. I haven't, I haven't watched it dubbed. If I'm honest, now that you brought that up, I would say, uh, and I'm gonna mispronounce this because I'm gonna say it in the Japanese title. Boko no Hero Academia is probably the most recent thing I've caught any bit of dubbed. And Derp, I'm gonna tell you now, my son is not old enough to be familiar with Cowboy Bebop either, and God help me, he will never see the Netflix
Oh,
abomination.
nobody should see that. That nobody is the way. I mean, oh my god.
Yeah, no, no. As soon as they announced the casting and that, I don't know the actress's name, but once she started saying what she was saying, I was like, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
And far better people have covered it. I want nothing to do with that thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was so much news around that at the time. Kind of one of those people that I don't watch things I'm not interested in because
Hmm.
my time is valuable. I might have an awful lot of it, but I'm not going to waste it on things that I'm either not interested in or that I know that I'm going to hate. And so I appreciate those who are capable of forcing them to do that so that I can sit back and laugh at the absolute mess that these people are creating. Uh, I just can't do it myself. I've tried.
I was honestly until she started saying stuff, and God help me, I can't think of the actor's name. The guy that was in Harold and Kumar and Cowboy Bebop.
Cho, I think that's his
Yeah,
last name.
I actually kind of liked the dude, so I was a little open to it. But then when she started saying the things that she said, and the whole premise to Faye Valentine was she used her sex appeal to her advantage,
Mm-hmm.
and then that actress is saying the stuff that she did, and basically it was a whole it was almost like a Rosk moment all over again.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not here
yeah.
to be easy on your eyes, and I'm like, yeah, actually Faye Valentine used that to her advantage.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one of the things I hate in current media is the idea that a woman using her body or sexual wiles is a negative thing. That's ridiculous. That's part of the power of being a woman.
I mean, if you're a space bounty hunter and you're going to get hella paid just to make that guy stupid for 5 seconds, by all means,
Yeah.
go for it.
It just takes a couple of seconds to make someone dumb. So
Bulma did that. Yes, Bulma pulled it off well because it takes a very strong woman to conquer the Prince of all Saiyans.
okay, and this is more about Dragon Ball than I ever knew. So, I mean, I watched some Sailor Moon growing up, and I watched what my brother watched. I watched some Dragon Ball Z because my brother watched it, and yeah,
those two were like the. See, I know we're relatively close in age. I don't remember exactly. But when I was young, at least in my area, because cable wasn't like it is now. It really was Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z.
mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I remember this on the local Fox station. Dragon Ball Z was only shown at like some weird, like, not even during the normal Saturday morning cartoon block. It was like 5:30 a.m. Honestly, this was before Toonami. Yes, nobody's close to my 118. That's a whole different. That's actually a true thing since he brought it up. Legally speaking, my original birth certificate says 1904.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So I'm 118.
Oh god,
But
that's funny.
yeah, like you were saying, that it was before Cartoon Network and Toonami, and this is not a conversation I thought we were going to have tonight, but since it's flowing so well, there really was just Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. Hey, Sherry.
Hey, Sherry, good to see you.
Before the Toonami block, they also didn't tell you a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like my son said, they tried to hide anime. Like,
Yep.
Akira, I didn't know when I was a child. I didn't know that was anime. The Street Fighter movies that eventually would be on Sci-Fi at weird times, I didn't know those were anime for the longest time. I was just ignorant about it, and it's not like anybody talked about it like they do now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's all over the place.
Yeah, no, I mean now you can't walk into Walmart without finding anime now. Literally, you can't walk into Walmart without finding manga now. It's such a different world from when I was little, and anime was basically Voltron.
Yeah, and see, for the longest time, I didn't know that was either. I thought that was just some
cartoon,
old, like 1980s cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh, now I got to correct my kid. Son, that might have been when Toonami came back. I can guarantee you that at one point Toonami existed.
Previous to that, I can back him up on this because we're pretty basically the same age.
Before I was 28, I guarantee it existed.
I mean, heck, I still remember watching Space Ghost Coast to Coast. So,
damn, internet lied to me. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot about Space Ghost Coast to Coast until you brought it up.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was a hilarious little show. It was goofy as fuck, but it was good.
That and God, what was the Brack show? Was it just the Brack show?
It was the Brack show. Yeah, and that was good too. And yeah, Space Ghost basically launched Adult Swim.
That's true. And let that be a lesson to you, son. If it wasn't for Space Ghost, they wouldn't have acquired the rights to Family Guy, and it wouldn't be like it is now, which you love so much.
It was better before.
Oh, I think they Now, this is just my own personal opinion because I think I had heard at one point he actually, Seth MacFarlane actually said he prefers making American Dad.
Mm-hmm.
But, American Dad's on TBS now. The Cleveland show ended.
Yeah.
Me personally, now this is just me, but if Fox kept coming to me and was like, hey, we're going to keep throwing this $100 million at you every so often, just pump this out regardless. That might be hard to say
No, too.
no to, especially when,
No.
I mean, you're the majority of the voices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got employees, but when you're like Peter, Brian, Stewie, and God knows however many else he does, you're probably keeping 60% of that to yourself.
Yeah. Everybody in chat seems to be saying that American Guy is better than Family. American Dad is better than Family Guy.
Yeah, I think, like I said, because he was saying he preferred doing that, it probably shows. Honestly, I haven't. I used to love Family Guy, but I don't.
Mm.
I don't even know what season it's up to. I probably, unless my kid's watching it, I haven't really seen it. I couldn't tell you how recent of one I've seen. Uh, but I believe it, and and unfortunately, it's going to get like The Simpsons, which
Mm-hmm.
I loved growing up. But eventually, Family Guy's on 22, and Simpsons has got to be up to 30 some
Oh
odd
my
now.
God, Simpsons is so wow.
Right. And, it's like always the same. And then the Simpsons people go after Seth MacFarlane, like you ripped us off. And it's like, well, Jesus Christ, you've been on since the dinosaurs. How are we not ripping? You've
Yeah,
done it.
yeah. You've basically covered all the ideas. So, okay.
Right. I mean, aside from the Halloween Treehouse of Horror.
Oh my God, was it that long ago The Simpsons started? Oh fuck, I feel old.
And that might have been when they started as their own because they also started on the Tracy Ullman show as a
Yeah.
short. See, Dirk Bader's
Mm-hmm.
got it.
I remember that too. God, I'm old. But real quick, just so we can get to the part where we don't have to be careful what we're saying. We're going to go ahead and switch to Rumble. So I'm going to put the Rumble link here in the, actually, probably easier if I did it this way, the YouTube chat for everybody if you want to come wander over there and continue our little conversation after I mute that right there. Sorry. Put that in a couple times. And we're going to, like I said, head right on over there. And if you guys want to come over with us, we'll be ready to see you. Do you want to say goodbye to YouTube for your last time?
I am going to say YouTube, it's been real. I'd like to say that. Before you do switch over, I would like to share with everyone part of the reason I left is I made the mistake of answering a demographic survey, and that tanked me somehow. They deny it, but I'm standing by it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conspiracry. Also,
Yeah.
go to bed, son. It's a school night.
I was wondering when that was going to come up.
Someone's got to do it.
Good night, NewsLad Junior. We will see the rest of you over on Rumble in just a moment, and you guys have a great night. For those of us who don't come over, so
Yes, fare thee well, all.
I need to get an in between transition thing at some point. But anyway, good night, YouTube.
Good night, YouTube.